Welcome to Left Coast Live. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, America's Wasp, joined as always with Stat Pat, Stateless Patriot. We are California lefties coming to you talking about national politics as well as some cultural issues going on as a result of yesterday's Super Bowl blowout win by the Philadelphia Eagles. Congratulations to them. As a Patriots fan, I never thought I'd be rooting for the Eagles in a Super Bowl, but hey, man, they did it, and they prevented the three-peat, and I think the NFL is a better place because of it.
I completely agree. I wasn't expecting that at all, honestly. It was a blowout for most of the game. It was
The number one defense, man. Whenever the number one defense in the league makes it to the Super Bowl, it usually wins. So that's one thing that, like, in hindsight, you're like, oh, nobody could see this coming. Well, actually, there was a data point there that could have predicted this kind of game. Plus, there's something to be said for like losing that game, getting back 2 years later, and then knowing what's required to win it, learning from that first loss so you do better the next time. So I was happy for the Eagles fans. Like I said, it's better for the league that there is no three-peat, just like it was better for the league that there was no undefeated season with the Patriots in Super Bowl 42. I think it's better for the league that these accomplishments don't happen.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm just it was like it was humbling in a way, before the game. Trump made this prediction, said that the Chiefs were going to win, and the Eagles showed up, and the Chiefs really didn't, until it was
they weren't ready.
Until it was too late. Yeah. Yeah, it was
to not get any points in the first half. It was just ridiculous. And then everybody starts thinking about, and Brady's on the broadcast. Everyone starts talking about Super Bowl 51. Like, oh, could they come back? Could they come back? And then I'm like, that Falcons defense wasn't that great. So good luck going up against the best defense of the season. Like that was the key. And cheers to Jalen Hurts for playing as well as he did. It was kind of a fun game to have people over. I know you were working, but it was a good game to miss if you had to work in your case. And in my case, having people over, it was a good game for that because I got to socialize and not have to worry about paying too much attention to the game. So it was fine. It was kind of a weird season. I'm glad it's over.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
as soon as the Lions and the Bills got bounced, I was like, oh, this season kind of sucks. Yeah. I thought maybe if the Commanders had made it, if the Commanders had beaten the Eagles and then somehow beaten the Chiefs, that would have been pretty cool. But we're probably a season away from the Commanders doing real well.
Right. But, I mean, I do expect them to at least make the playoffs next year for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, God, what was I going to say? Yeah, it was I was able to watch it, fortunately.
Good.
There's an app called Tubi, and my brother introduced me to it. You can watch all sorts of free TV and movies and whatnot, and they were streaming the game for free, and it actually looked like really well for for a free app for what it was worth and whatnot. So cool. As I was working, for the most part, I was able to either listen in or watch the game. So that was at least refreshing.
Well, it's an important part of the calendar year. It's like officially saying goodbye to 2024, right? It's the last vestige of 2024.
Right.
And so now we can officially move on. We got a new president, and he is dismantling the republic as we speak. And people just don't seem to care to the extent that I would like them to. There is a lot of activism going on the left. I've been networking, trying to get on webinars and whatnot. And they're useful. They're helpful, but I don't know, man. We need a figurehead on the left. We need someone with a big platform and to come in and say, we are going to start calling Trump trash, because no one's doing it. No one's saying this was idiotic. This was so stupid to put him back in power. Look what he is doing.
God, yeah, it's still so hard to reconcile with, like, without a doubt. And like, if you have leaders like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries out there calling the shots or leading the charge or whatnot. The Democrats are just fucked, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hakeem Jeffries, like, what are we supposed to do? We have no leverage. It's like, you're supposed to talk shit,
Yeah.
dude. You're supposed to deconstruct everything that they're doing and
Yes.
smear
At the
everything
very
they do
least.
now, so that when we come time to run for when it comes time for the next election, everyone's been like, yeah, I said this was going to suck. I said this was going to suck. And look, it all
Right.
sucked. So you guys should be listening to us. Instead, you got Trump. And now it's time to reverse course, because that's what's going to happen in the next few years is people are going to start to see. I think already some people are waking up. You see these compilations of TikTok videos and whatnot, and people are all like, no, don't do that. But as I mentioned on the previous stream, I was on a webinar with a fairly well-known Democratic politician who had two pieces of advice, and his pieces of advice were lead with love and don't give the regretful MAGA chuds the I told you so treatment. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I think people are pissed. I think it's okay to be pissed. And I think we need to capitalize on that emotion. And so far in these circles that I'm trying to break into, there is a thirst for a cultural shift. It's just a matter of who's going to be the person that actually catalyzes it. Because this party's fucking just bending over, man. And, like there's just no leadership. There's no leadership right now from the left.
No.
At least if there is, I don't see it.
Yeah, and it's pathetic that you have people who are supposed to be leading and they're not, like Hakeem Jeffries, going out to Silicon Valley and trying to mend fences and gain favor with the remaining I guess tech oligarchs that are there, the big money special interests for Silicon Valley and whatnot. It's like, dude, they're not your part. You're not their party anymore. They realize that they can just weaponize the Republican Party to get what they want, because everybody looks to Elon Musk and is like, oh, this guy's a savior. He's gonna lead the charge. Look at what he's doing with Doge. Look, he has all the momentum right now. So it's like, tough fucking luck. Go back to your roots as a party. Utilize a message of the working class and labor and healthcare and education and protecting marginalized groups and subjugated communities, and maybe you'll have a fucking shot.
Right.
Don't.
Well, you got to do that's the thing about the Republicans is, a lot of people give them a hard time for always campaigning. Well, I would just replace the word campaigning with competing. Right? They're always competing with the Democrats. They're always putting up a fight. No matter what the Democrats do, the Republicans have something negative to say about it.
Right.
And I don't understand why we're not doing that now. This could be generational change. 2026 and 2028 could be landslide wins for the Democrats if they sow the seeds right now.
Yeah.
But then again, there's the issue of like, well, what are the Republicans going to do to control those elections? Because they're going to do something. But yeah, it's a shame to see. I really want to get involved. I don't know how we can coalesce the networks on the left into kind of a laser beam of energy on a national level, because a lot of these organizations that I'm doing outreach with are silos. They're not really connected to kind of a nexus in the middle of it, and that's organizing everything. And this is one of my issues with the left culturally is the everybody's a winner culture, right? Everybody's a leader culture. It's like, no, we need 5 to 10 people right now that people have heard of and that know are the next generation of political leaders for the Democratic Party. And we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. So maybe we will. I mean, it's still early and I haven't given up hope, but if a new leader or if a current leader doesn't rebrand, I don't I don't know, man. It's
Yeah.
tough not to despair. It's tough not to despair because this is really
Really
bad.
though, it really fucking is. It's really hard. Like I try distracting myself day after day with shit that actually interests me. Aside from politics, and just stay away from the news and the news cycle. And it's just like sometimes it's unavoidable,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating. It's like just trying to find some semblance of joy or fucking at the very least hope. It's fucking really hard right now, honestly. Given the momentum is not in our favor, that's for damn sure. Um, yeah, frustrating doesn't even begin to cut it. Um, but you know, escapism, as I've stated before in past streams, is really important for the near future, just so people can maintain some semblance of sanity.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm worried. And there's a lot of people I'm worried about, who are
Right.
in red states. I mean, I know
Yeah.
not directly. I don't have like direct relationships, but I know plenty of second degree relationships
Right.
that are immigrants who are vulnerable,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
documented as well as undocumented.
Of course.
So
Of
I'm
course.
worried about them. And more than anything, though, talk to me about the latest because I haven't been able to check the news much today. But what is the latest with Elon and what is he up to? Because I listened to a little bit of Kalinsky, but I didn't get a chance to listen to everything.
Well, the biggest thing with him is that, I mean, aside from him being full of shit, is he's not doing any of what he's doing with Doge to make government smaller. He's not doing everything that he's doing with Doge to find waste and cut costs. He's doing it to protect his own ass. He has a
Right.
lot of conflicts of interest. He has a lot of contracts with governments. He's subsidized, and he is um, very much uh, he's had a history of being investigated because of his labor practices and because of
And he's
his
taken away the regulations, right? He's like now in
yes.
charge. He's now in charge of the NLRB or something. No,
Oh,
not an NLR, and not NLRB. He's trying to get rid
so
of the NLRB.
yeah. And this is crazy because he tweeted out Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, rest in peace. And that got quite a reaction because even people who you would think would be more sympathetic to his cause and whatnot are like,
Right.
well, what the fuck? Why? What's the point of
Right.
this? Like this is a good government agency. Why would you get rid of this? And then like he's on the back foot, like, oh, I mean, like, sure, it's done some good things, but it just had to go. It just had to go. And the reason why it had to go is because he wants to scam people. This is like the biggest, literally one of the greatest fucking government departments by far. It was put in place by Elizabeth Warren,
Right.
and it's returned billions and billions
Yeah.
of dollars to defrauded Americans, people who are victims of scams, who are the
Right.
victim of fraud, and it, it, it and now it's just being completely dismantled. So, like, they literally want the ability to just scam you outright. I mean, and Trump is all for it. I mean, look no further than his Trump coin that he
Yeah.
fucking grifted just before inauguration. He ended up fucking ripping off all sorts of people for a giant
Billions.
amount of money. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so Elon Musk is shutting down parts of the government that have been investigating his companies
Hmm.
for not only uh, safety violations, but his labor practices and apparently his ties to Russia as well. I mean, aside from the fact that he does business with China, but I mean, just a few examples. The SEC reopened a probe into Neuralink, according to Elon Musk's lawyer. A Tesla discrimination probe was killed as well. The probe was, I guess, the probe was stopped as Trump just completely axed the watchdog agency, um, and the inspection of the USAID's oversight of Starlink terminals provided to the government of Ukraine, that was all stopped because obviously they're going after USAID, which I don't understand how more Republicans are like, "Hey, why are you doing this? It's good that we're spreading positive U.S. hegemony
Hmm.
abroad. Like we are fucking feeding people, and now hundreds of tons of food is just sitting at shipping locations because of the executive order that or like just the dismantling of USAID by not only Trump but Doge as well, and it was all running like clockwork. These resilient agencies, and now their future is fucking in jeopardy. And not only that, the FAA ordered an investigation into SpaceX after their Starship broke up and showered debris over the Caribbean. Um, but yeah, and that's not even the whole thing either. There's literally so fucking much to look into when it comes to Elon Musk and his various business practices over the years. Like,
And it's going to be a really long time before we understand fully what the damage is.
no, of
The full
course,
extent of this is going to be years from
no,
now. Is the ripple
yeah.
effect is going to be huge.
Even if
I wonder
it,
politically that the saving grace might be the moderate Republicans who are like whose districts or whose states are Trump, but they're not hugely Trump, or they recognize that the policies that are getting passed now are going to hurt those constituents, and they want to start to separate themselves now to preserve their own political careers. I don't know if there's any validation to that, but validity to that, but maybe there is. I don't know, man. I just feel like we're in the dark ages. This is a
yeah,
hellscape,
yeah.
and I'm lucky to live where I live.
No,
But
I'm
you
yeah.
know,
I'm grateful
I,
as well. It could be a lot worse,
and
at least for us personally.
yeah, but I haven't didn't do any today, but this weekend I ran across some like FAFO compilations online
Yeah.
about the Trump supporters like coming to terms with it. So
Hmm.
the tide has already started to
Yeah.
turn. It's a matter of will there be enough momentum to get us to bounce back in
God,
2 to 4 years.
who
What's
knows?
funny though about the Democratic Party with the branding, like you said, get back to their roots. FDR is the paradigm. I just
Yeah.
don't know what is complicated about in terms of branding the Democratic Party. They have their Reagan, we have FDR. FDR was better than Reagan by a lot,
Right.
and in a lot of different ways. He preemptively proved this bullshit about government being the problem as untrue and dangerously untrue. Like, we've had the progressive American on here, Connor, and he was talking about basics like clean water and clean air. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, we gotta have people taking care of these things. Oh, I
Yeah.
got some love here.
Yeah.
As a liberal, I've been upset with our government for years. Now Doge getting it done finally.
What? What is that? No. No.
April, I hope you're being sarcastic because this is really scary what's happening with the
Y-
country right now, and Elon
Right.
dismantling a lot of really important programs. I
Right.
don't know where you're getting your information, but please check out some other sources because this is not good. What is going on with the America right now is really, really bad.
Yeah, Doge
And
is
oh,
not an agency that's approved by Congress, and so the authorization that the team had was expedited by Trump on purpose. We really haven't seen national security vulnerability like this in at least in the
Cold
modern
War.
age, probably.
Yeah,
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 probably.
probably
Yeah.
since the Cold War.
I
Yeah,
mean, I actually had a post on Blue Sky that actually did some numbers when I posted about the fact that Elon Musk was in regular contact with Vladimir Putin throughout
yeah,
2024. And
yeah.
I said it suddenly makes more sense that Elon Musk shut down USAID because they launched an investigation into Starlink, which was
Yeah.
turned off over Ukraine in the middle of the war.
Weird.
So I wonder if Doge plans to send Russia what they've uncovered. So, you know, Who knows? And another thing about U.S. AID, now that a lot of their aid work is frozen, a lot of food is going to waste. And Megan was asking about that. Where are the shipping locations? There is one in Houston, Texas. And apparently, prepositions emergency food aid and BHA warehouses around the world, according to the USAID Office of Inspector General, which includes approximately 29,000 metric tons in Houston, Texas, valued at nearly $39 million. And apparently, there's another warehouse in Djibouti that has more than 40,000 metric tons and over
Metric tons of what?
food, emergency food
Oh,
aid.
food.
Yeah,
And it's just sitting there.
yeah, it's just sitting there rotting, not getting to where it's going because all the staff is being forced to resign. They're not they're not allowed into the department anymore. They don't have access to what they need to. It's just a fucking shit show right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
You got any fun chats? I'm gonna bring up your chats because you get more chats now. Is Megan going ballistic?
Not much so far. I guess Doge is gonna audit the Pentagon, which I guess good luck with that. But uh, they might have
That would be cool.
issues. They might
If
have
they
issues
do it
getting
right, but
access.
they're not going to do it right. They're not going to. They
Do it
know.
right. Yeah.
They're not going to do it right.
Yeah. That's gonna be a real tough one for them to do for sure. But
Yeah, that's like the last. That's like the holy grail, right? That's like if there's one thing that pulls better than everything else in our society, it's the U.S. military.
yeah.
So if they start to give Elon the keys to the Pentagon, that's going to be a whole nother
Oh yeah.
ball of wax.
No, yeah. It probably won't happen because that's there are a lot more regiments when it comes to the Pentagon, fortunately.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, and not to mention they don't even really have to do so anyway because it's like we've already like the Pentagon has already faced multiple audits, and every single time they can't
fail.
they fail the audits and they can't account for
Right.
now going on trillions and trillions
No,
of
that's the
dollars.
ironic thing about that's like a perception versus reality situation with the United States military. Everybody thinks because it's the military, it's a lean, mean fighting machine. It's like,
Right.
no, it's not. It's actually a fat, out of shape old man that isn't doing anything efficiently.
Right.
They're not doing things efficiently. They don't manage resources well.
No, they don't.
They don't. They always go to Congress for more money, and they pretty much always get it.
Yeah, more than what they ask for sometimes too.
Yeah, usually more than what they ask for. So it's like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Invest and yet we're having issues with VA hospitals, and veterans aren't getting the health care that they need. I mean, if anyone is entitled to full-fledged, hands down, no questions asked health care, it's our men and women in uniform. It's ironic that that's coming from a progressive, right? We're supposed to be like anti-military, but it's like having, family that served in the Navy, and both my grandparents and my dad. It feels weird that the veterans aren't getting taken care of. And it's like, I thought we Republicans would at least do that much, but they didn't.
Right.
So here we are again talking about the same problems that we were talking about 20 years ago, that I thought we would have solved by now. But here I am about to go one more year into my 40s, and a lot of this shit is not showing any signs of real progress. In fact, everything seems to be getting worse.
Yeah.
So I am pissed. I'm also a little scared for people that I care about. I'm not scared for myself, but I'm scared for like the country as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fucking scary.
It really is.
How much power he has, because it's not like he's got a split Congress. He's got both houses. He's got a Supreme Court that's given him ridiculous amounts of power.
Yeah, and that's like the most frustrating thing about it too. Is just like why does everything need to be done through the executive when you have both the House and the Senate? Why are you just like going out of your way to nullify Congress? Like you can't, like if you want to get all this shit done and like make it stick. Why are you doing it all through executive orders and executive actions? Why can't you have Congress introduce a bill that has everything that you want passed so it stays, and have it pass both the House and the Senate, and then sign it into law at the very least? And like, but that's not the ideology of Trump or JD Vance or anybody in their orbit. They want unitary executive theory. They want the president to be
Yes.
a king. They want,
Effect.
they want to rule at the stroke of a pen. They don't want. It's like JD Vance is now um signaling that I mean, the judges don't have any say or control over the executive's actions or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, the fuck they do. That's why they're like, the judicial
Yeah.
system is a co-equal
Right.
branch of government, and now
Right.
like now we're facing, it's a constitutional crisis, and
Yes.
it's going to come to a head at some point where a ruling is made, and the executives just be like, I'm just going to ignore that ruling because fuck you. What are you going to do about it?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's been Trump's MO for a really long time, since the beginning. Is I'm going to push the limits as far as they can be pushed. I'm going to do what I want until someone throws me in jail, and no one ever has.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's impenetrable.
Yeah.
He thinks he can do whatever he wants, and that's why he's not even using Congress, because he doesn't care. He doesn't even want to be president. He just wants to run for president and win.
Yeah.
And then now that he's like actually president, I don't think he wants to be president anymore.
No, he wants to leave all up to fucking JD Vance,
Elon and JD,
Musk,
yeah.
and all those fucking techno feudalist fucking.
I don't know what they're thinking
maniacs,
about
dude.
though, man, because this is gonna like put them in danger. I mean, people are gonna catch on.
Yeah.
Them going to that inauguration like that
Mm-hmm.
was really dumb, I think, on their part.
Right.
I think that just was like, oh wow, so you guys think you are entitled to run our society.
Mm-hmm.
And they do. They think of themselves as gods.
Yes.
They think that they can transcend death by technology.
Yeah, it's like fucking Black Mirror, dude. It's absolutely insane. Like they're fucking lunatics. And I mean, it's like they really don't have any regard for being held accountable at all, because they've gotten away with everything for so goddamn
Right.
long, you know?
Right.
Like they're the richest people in the world, and why be president? Why not just use our power and influence to bolster someone who's with more charisma than us, you know? And that's where Trump comes into play. And they all celebrated when JD Vance was picked as VP, because they see him as next in line. And yeah, it just depends on if the entire upper class decides to go along with it. And so far, that seems to be the case, which is very, very fucking unnerving. The Democrats can't hinge their hope on some billionaires being
Having a conscience.
well, yeah, literally having a fucking conscience, which, I mean, tough bet, few and far between.
Check it out. Ready?
Yeah.
Look at this. This is one thing I did see on Klinsky that I want to make sure our audience sees. So
Hmm.
this is anonymous.
Oh, I haven't
This
seen that in
is
a minute.
a variable that I had forgotten about, but came back up today in coverage.
Citizens of the United States. The effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here, unfolding before you. While many remain unaware, blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching, and it is responding.
Mhm.
Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing inch by inch. The
Yeah.
cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States.
Yep.
The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely.
Yeah.
The consequences will be severe. Every imported product you rely on, everyday essentials, food, technology, will see skyrocketing prices, making even basic necessities unattainable for the average American. What you perceive as a simple rise in costs is, in reality, a calculated strategy.
Yeah.
Planned to systematically dismantle the lower class, to push those already struggling into the abyss of poverty where they will face an impossible choice. Perish or submit to servitude under the wealthy elite. Make no mistake, this is economic warfare, and the target is you. The recent ICE raids are not just about immigration enforcement, they are about control.
Yep.
The Trump administration seeks to reignite the flames of racial inequality and segregation-era policies, erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear.
Yep.
These operations are disrupting local economies, forcing businesses to crumble, and ensuring the economic elimination of the working class. What follows is a society engineered to serve the interests of the few at the cost of the many. And as the oligarchy takes shape, another darker ideology is creeping into the mainstream. Fascist ideals, once whispered in the shadows, are now being openly embraced.
Yep.
Symbolism matters. Gestures matter.
Yo.
Elon Musk,
good for you guys.
a figure of immense influence,
inspiring.
recently tested the waters with a gesture recognized worldwide as a Nazi salute. This was not an accident. It was a message, a challenge, a warning,
and a call to action, a rallying cry.
Silent.
It really is.
Despite the administration's best efforts to muzzle dissent, the voices of resistance grow louder. Trump's reckless overhauls, his purges of experienced government officials, his chaotic restructuring of critical infrastructure have created vulnerabilities, weaknesses, entry points. This transition period is his greatest liability, but it is also our greatest opportunity. The rushed implementation of new systems, the mass firings of key personnel, and the chaotic dismantling of existing structures have left behind critical gaps that Anonymous can and will exploit.
Okay.
Every system that has been hastily restructured without foresight, every official removed without proper transition planning, leaves behind exposed veins within the government's framework. These vulnerabilities are more than just bureaucratic inefficiencies. They are cracks in the foundation that can and will be breached.
Wow.
Anonymous watches. Anonymous waits. The time to act is fast approaching.
I love the ending. Watch the ending.
The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system. Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition will be their undoing. We know where to look. We know how to strike.
Okay.
But understand this. Our intervention, no matter how disruptive, will only be a temporary roadblock unless you, the people, rise. This is your warning. This is your chance. The transition period is fleeting, and once they solidify their grip, your options will vanish. If you fail to act now, the cost of resistance will be far greater in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
To those in power, think carefully. Your decisions now will determine your future. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
That's what I'm talking about. The do not forgive and do not forget part is just awesome.
Oh yeah.
I love that, man. Forgiveness is not going to get us home here. This is not forgivable. I told an old friend of mine tried to message me after the election, guy I hadn't talked to in years. We fell out because of Trump in 2016. And he tried to reconnect. And I'm like, dude, fascism isn't forgivable, man.
Yeah.
Don't message me again. 3 strikes and you're out. I know you voted for Trump 3 times. I don't want anything to do with you unless you're ready to apologize and admit that Trump has been the biggest mistake this country has made since the fucking Civil War. This is the biggest mistake we have made in a president since Buchanan or since the guy who preceded FDR.
Yeah.
Who you would probably know. I don't know who preceded FDR, but at least I don't know right now. It's been a long day, man. It's been a long day.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Only fucking Monday. Yeah. I've always really liked Anonymous. I like their videos. I like their messages. They've been very consistent, and I appreciate them a whole lot. Megan's reaction is, man, this sounds like advice to enemy governments. Well, the thing about that, Megan, is that these vulnerabilities wouldn't be in place if Doge wasn't granted access to all these systems. And now that this is all out there in the open, and like they were given these this authorization to various departments and whatnot, it's exposed national security weaknesses, and that's what Anonymous is talking about here. I was actually just about to say this post I made on Blue Sky about something that actually happened recently. The CIA sent an unclassified list with identifying information about new hires to the Office of Management and Budget to comply with Trump's executive order. I'm sure intelligence agencies around the world have started a betting pool on who can get their hands on it first. Like, these vulnerabilities are widespread.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's scary. I don't know what the hell is going to happen next. I expected things to be bad, but I didn't know things were going to get this bad.
Oh, of course.
This quickly.
No, yeah.
I mean, they are literally deconstructing our federal government. I know, and they've only scratched the surface of what they're going to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see what happens.
No, right. Yeah. Megan says the treasury was literally just hacked like a week before we put the best people on the tech of it. If you have details on how that hacking turned out, what was exposed, I would love to look more into that. But yeah, no.
That's creepy by Anonymous. It sounds like they actually care about the people. It's weird.
No, yeah,
Isn't
and that's kind of been their thing for a while now. That's
Yeah.
I've
They've been
always
around for about like 10 years, right? They've been around 10, 15 years, something like that.
yeah, I think like 15 years, something like that. It's been they've been around a long time, and they've always come across that way to me. You know, I mean, it's why they're anonymous. Yeah. Let's see here.
We got another one from Megan.
Well, she might be able to bring up some more information about the treasury, I guess, being hacked a week before.
Oh, here we go. I got one. Do you think Democrats will use the government shutdown to their advantage to stop Trump and Musk?
I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it.
I have no faith in this Democratic Party. I have no faith in them. I think it's just going to be. I think we're an alcoholic relapsing right now, and our addiction is, as a public, is ignorance. People are still really ignorant about what the hell is going on, and there's just no counterattack.
No,
like Gavin Newsom talks about playing offense. I think the reluctance from the Democratic Party is to turn citizen against citizen, but I think that time has come. I don't think that MAGA hats should be treated as anything less than swastikas in blue cities. You wear a MAGA hat in Chicago, don't expect to get served at a restaurant, bar, club. You're not going to be welcome in there wearing that thing. That's where I think we need to start to take our culture. We need to fight back on the culture war on the ground in the best real estate in the country, which is our blue cities.
Right.
I mean, those are the most desirable places to live. It's the population centers. It's where the most educated people live. Start there and let it spider web out. And maybe along the way, you'll get some people that kind of realize, who aren't Confederate flag waving, Bible beating gun nuts, that the Republican Party actually doesn't care about them, because the Republican Party is not neocons anymore. It's MAGA, and there's a difference. And if you don't know the difference by now, it's probably too late for you.
Right. Megan says, I guess she says the Chinese got into the private company that the Treasury were using for server protection. I personally think the government shouldn't have a third party manage their cybersecurity, but maybe that's just me. Now, did they get into did they hack into the Treasury itself, like the system of the Treasury and the payment systems, etc., or did they hack into the private company that that the Treasury was using? I mean, I agree. Either way, we shouldn't have a third party, especially if it's a private entity. More vulnerability to corruption and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else you want to cover today. I mean, I'm down for a shorter stream if you want, but let's see what else we got.
We got into multiple departments. Okay. Do you have any links to any stories, Megan? I could probably read it off a stream. I'll probably look some of it up right now. What did you think of that?
I saw that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Trump pardoned Blagojevich because Blagojevich was on his reality show. He was on The Apprentice, the Celebrity Apprentice, at one point. And then it looks like they're going to drop federal charges against the mayor of New York, Eric Adams. So much for the rule of law.
Yeah. What did they do that they needed to be pardoned for?
Well, Blagojevich got caught moving money around. It was money like he stole money that got broken, that got raised for like charities and stuff. It was really bad.
Oh,
Like
really?
really bad news. Yeah.
No, of course.
Yeah, he got caught a while ago.
Of course, he get fucking pardoned for that because fucking Trump and all his cronies do shit like that all the time. All right, tech target, Treasury Department hack, explaining how it happened. Major cyber attack at the U.S. Treasury, allegedly by Chinese state-sponsored hackers, exploiting beyond just software, the access to sensitive unclassified documents. Okay. On December 8th, 2024, the U.S. Treasury disclosed major cybersecurity incident. They're able to gain unauthorized access to multiple offices within the agency, putting potentially sensitive information at risk. Oh, like Doge. The cause of the incident is apparently tied to a vulnerable third-party software component. Beyond trust, third-party breach.
We know about Project 2025, but has there ever been any talk about an anti-Project 2025, like a leftist Project 2028? Yeah, it would probably be Project 2029, actually, is what it would be called. But yes, that's what we need, man. We need a game plan. We need a playbook. We need a coach.
Yeah.
We need a head coach. And I got news for you. Ken Martin isn't going to get it done. Ken Martin as the new DNC chair is not a good sign for things to come, because he's not just because of the comments that he made about taking billionaire money, because I think with the right leadership, that billionaire money could be put to good use. But he's a neoliberal. They don't even admit the system's broken.
Right.
They're going to have to admit at some point that the system is broken. They have to get there. If they don't do that, then we're at alcoholics still with a problem that we just are in denial about existing.
Right. Yeah. So, according to more of the cyber attack, it was breached, unauthorized access to the Treasury Department offices, user workstations, compromise of unclassified documents maintained by affected users, immediate engagement with law enforcement, cybersecurity, and infrastructure security agency upon discovery. Meaning they were on it like right away. Third-party forensic investigators deployed to assess impact. Let's see how this attack happened. Initial compromise, key theft. By exploiting the vulnerabilities, the attackers were likely able to steal a cryptographic key used by Beyond Trust. The stolen key allows attackers to override the service's security protocols. And let's see. Okay, who's affected? Timeline attack. Who's responsible?
He signs an order shifting us back toward plastic straws. Awesome.
Oh God, yeah, fucking stupid. Just more red meat to the base.
Judge finds White House violated court order to stop funding freeze. Of course they did. They don't care.
No, yeah. Impacts. Let's see. Some other incidents. Okay, so there's nothing in this article about what the response was, or the Treasury Department breach fits with brother pattern. Yeah, nothing about how we responded other than the CISA immediately engaged them. Okay, I mean, this is going to happen a whole hell of a lot more so long as Doge is getting unfettered access to all these agencies and departments. So, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
What did you think about Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance?
I thought it was fine. I didn't think that it was anything special. I didn't think it was like anything really horrible. Thought it was just a regular halftime show. Is it as memorable as like Katy Perry on The Lion or Lady Gaga doing her thing? I mean, not for me, not really. But I didn't know who Kendrick Lamar was really up until this last year. So, you know,
right.
I didn't really care. Did people making us think about it, or people thinking that?
Yeah, big time.
Tell me.
A lot of before I get into that,
hold on, I got another pack. I want to give this guy some love because he's
Sure.
one of my new guys. ABS Anonymous Bastard of Society says, also, when it comes to Democrat fundraising, has it ever been considered to do a progressive variant of this?
Yeah, like
that's
small dollar.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, it's the progressive variant is what Step had just said, small dollar donations. So that's not parallel. That's not the same thing, because you can get a lot more out of one billionaire than you can get out of like 1,000, 10,000 individual donations. So the economics are very different. And then think like Bernie Sanders and the alternative left-leaning politicians setting up a progressive small dollar donation campaign fund for leftists to use separate from DNC funds. Yeah, I think honestly, progressivism needs a PAC where benevolent HNIs, high net worth individuals, can donate anonymously so that they don't get traced. I've been thinking about this. I mean, the PAC system is here. And I think if you said that if you're a progressive politician, I'm taking money from one PAC and one PAC only, this Progressive PAC of America or whatever you want to call it, and then everybody understands that like that's where all the next generation of progressive politicians are going to get their money from, that's fine. But we need to do something to start getting competitive.
Yeah,
because in terms of financing, because we're not.
There's definitely a few PACs out there that are, the function and purpose of them is for progressive causes and whatnot, but
like the Progressive Caucus PAC.
Yeah, or like Justice Democrats as well. Like they were a really big institution until they just kind of fizzled out. Honestly, I don't even really think they have much of a presence anymore.
No, they don't. Ever since Kulinski left. And now it's like, who wants Cenk in there? Because Cenk and Anna keep trying to normalize MAGA to stay relevant, which is just pathetic.
Right.
Everyone keeps talking about that in our space. Everyone in our space keeps covering that. And it's like, we haven't talked about it much, but that's another sign of despair, is that the network that should be clamoring the most for impeaching Trump or going after our fellow MAGA citizens in a nonviolent way, they are selling out and doing events with Charlie Kirk and people who are blind faith MAGA.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked to see it.
Right. Yeah. Megan says, not using third party private companies, you think would make us more susceptible? No, I think
yeah, we're with you on Megan on overturning Citizens United. I don't know why she's
just referring to us talking about PACs and whatnot, and how fucked it is and everything. No, Megan, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think that the government should be using third parties to manage their cybersecurity. Like, period.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
Why would we need that? We have the fucking Defense Department. Our Defense Department invented the internet.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The CISA. Like, we have we literally have multiple government departments that could be like tasked with this shit, but all of it's being fucking undone and rooted out for fucking no reason, just because Elon Musk wants to escape accountability. Like, because literally, like, the first fucking agencies that he's going after are ones that have investigate his companies, his labor violations with Tesla. Bye NLRB. His fucking scamming and fraud, and this goes for Trump as well. I'm sure he wanted to go after the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. That's why Elon Musk didn't really have a good reason for getting rid of the CFPB in the first place. It's all self-serving,
Right. Here we go. I got another one for you.
Mm-hmm.
ABS Anonymous Bastard of Society says left-leaning politicians could do massive rallies to host these fundraisers. Bernie could be the main attraction. We could do what Trump does and keep the public conscious on the bad shit. Dude, I'm down. It's just we need the leadership. Bernie is so far past his prime, he can't see it in the rearview mirror. There needs to be an heir to Bernie, and it's got to be someone. It's got to be multiple heirs. It can't just be AOC.
Yeah, seriously. People need to like make a name for themselves right now and be unapologetic and be loud and get people excited, get people driven, because like the landscape is ripe for the picking. Like, there's no better time than now for crying out loud. Yeah. So as for Kendrick's performance, I thought it was
Yeah.
actually pretty excellent. There's actually because I'm a big Kendrick fan. I've listened to all this stuff, and I'm um very fond of him. And there was a lot of little subtle hidden messages here and there, and he had a couple of great lines. The revolution will be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Like a direct reference to Trump. Um, 40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than music. Literally calling for reparations, like right there in front of millions of people. And then, of course,
Yeah.
like this is just like the apex of the beef that he had with Drake last year. And that's what not like us is all about. That song won 5 Grammys last week to begin with. It's a very big cultural moment for damn sure, and a lot of the moments there went over a lot of people's heads. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam was actually kind of clever. Trying to bring calm to the minds of all the old white people at home, like trying to make it like don't make this too ghetto, like it's like a direct
Mhm.
quote from him. It was really genius in the way that there was a lot to it. There was a lot of details into it, and a whole lot of thought went into the entire performance.
Production.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh yeah, and production as well. Yeah. Um,
So have you seen the guy who's looking to run against Pelosi? Yeah, I have. His name
Shahid
is
Buttar, I
Sakat
think.
Chakrabarti.
Oh,
Shag
oh yeah, that's
Sakat
right.
Chakrabarti, who's AOC's former campaign manager with connections to the Bay Area.
Hell
So
yeah.
he's going. I thought Pelosi was retiring, but
That's what I
that's
thought too.
fine.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope fucking he wins that seat for damn sure.
Well, that's the beginning. I mean, that's one of many that we need. We
Yeah.
need to primary, like we need to get Gen Z and millennials to show up for Democratic primaries more so than they ever have in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Those age brackets need to show up more than they ever have. And we
Yes.
need to take control of this party and by extension, take control of the country
Yeah.
because no one else seems to know what the hell they're doing. I
No
mean, I'm
kidding.
shelling out, like I've said many times, shelling out $2,000 a month in health insurance for me and my wife. I mean, it's
Insane.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That alone makes me want to run for office.
Yeah.
Just to like make a point about that one issue.
Of course.
And I never even thought healthcare would be my issue. But
Right.
it's everyone's issue.
It really is.
Like how has this party been such a central part of our politics for my lifetime and they still haven't gotten it done,
No kidding.
and raising the minimum wage,
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah.
freeing people out of freeing nonviolent drug offenders, relieving student loan debt.
Yeah.
Biden did student loan debt, but then it got caught up in the courts, and he just did a means tested, like incremental loan debt, and it was just like, what are you doing, man?
Right.
Wipe the whole slate clean. Get yourself a new generation of voters, you idiot.
Yeah. Ridiculous by far. I couldn't agree more. But
Megan
yeah.
got more for you?
No, she's been a little bit quiet.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I thought the Kendrick performance was really good. Definitely not one like up there with the best Super Bowl halftime shows for sure. But I'm really glad he played Not Like Us, and was able to tell Drake that he was a pedophile and just say it out loud in front of fucking hundreds of millions of people potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that part.
Oh yeah.
That's wild. So Drake is a pedophile?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was like widely, kind of considered that he was for a while, and then he decides to get into a beef, like a rap beef, and like with Kendrick Lamar, and they were trading songs back and forth in the middle of 2024, and it became one of the most legendary rap beefs of all time. And then it ended up with Not Like Us, and Drake had like a really weak response and then he ended up deleting it because like it just wasn't worth. Because like he knows that he got like fucking trounced.
Right.
And Kendrick Lamar just outsmarted him every step of the way. Like the way he released the diss tracks and how it was like immediately after Drake would. Not to mention, I guess Kendrick Lamar has a lot of insider information on Drake's circle as well, and so he was able to like utilize that not only to like his advantage, but he's even put it in his songs, and just warn him, yeah. Drake is a creep. Megan says Drake is a creep. Kendrick is a good rapper. I didn't think it was super family friendly to pick those songs, and yeah, some of those moments were interesting politically. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of censorship for sure, like self censorship, because Kendrick was rapping live, and a lot of pressure to do that, like to do it naturally for sure. But
so one of the cultural casualties of the kind of revolution that you and I are calling for is going to be that Gen Z and younger generations are not going to have the same kinds of childhoods or young lives that we did.
Of course.
They are gonna have to grow up quicker than we did. They need to kind of grow up, get involved, open their eyes, and realize that conservative capitalism doesn't work. Just start there. Start with what doesn't work. And then people can maybe get behind you. Conservative capitalism doesn't work.
Yes.
Maybe there was a time where we could have made capitalism a regulated system and made it an equal opportunity society. That opportunity has come and gone.
Yeah.
We missed it. It was 24 years ago. It was really 32 years ago.
Right.
With Clinton. That was the chance. When Clinton won in 92, and he didn't have Congress, though, so he decided to, pass things like NAFTA and the Telecom Act and the Crime Bill and repealing Glass-Steagall. My God.
Of course.
What a devastating piece of legislation. I mean, do you know anything about how our banking system works? Do you know anything about why there was a separation between retail banks and investment banks? It's like, no, all he cared about was getting reelected.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Megan says, I'm not a huge fan of rap concerts, but bro rapping so fast, rushing all around was impressive, definitely. Yeah, no, that was definitely a lot. Like, because like a big complaint of a whole hell of a lot of boomers with the complexion of Wonder Bread was that like I couldn't understand a single thing he was saying. That was awful. Worst halftime performance ever. That was everywhere. It was prominent. It was.
Yeah, I saw that.
Insane.
The conservative reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, of course, like there's an obvious generational divide, and all the old folks will always be like, "I don't listen to that rap crap," but like their brains work slower than molasses to begin with, and like I don't expect them to not like at the very least appreciate it, let alone understand it. What's being said, and the subtleties of the hidden messages, and the symbolism as well of the production and the performance. Megan also points out Palestine Sudan flag. Yeah, I guess there was a performer, one of the dancers or whatever, who actually got up on stage, kind of where everybody was dancing, and was holding up a flag that was basically a combination of the Sudan flag and the Palestinian flag, and he was up there for like a good minute until he was chased down and I guess taken out by security. Yeah, and I guess since he had permission to be there, he they couldn't really charge him with anything because usually for something like that, this is it. Usually for an event like this, I guess you could say, they get charged with trespassing, which is just a bullshit charge for getting up there and protesting. But it's not exactly trespassing if you're allowed to be there, if you were like part of the group of
one of the dancers or something. Yeah,
exactly. So ballsy move. I'm really glad that happened. Yes,
I think you're just gonna see more of that stuff,
yeah.
man. We got the
I hope
NBA
so.
and the NHL going on now, and
I need to get more into the NHL. Honestly, I need to get more into the NHL.
Yeah, the playoffs are entertaining for sure.
Mhm.
The playoffs. I always pay attention to the Bruins when we go into the postseason, but up until then, I don't. There's so many games. It's like the NBA. There's just so many games.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not really. Yeah, there's just too many games. That's what I love about the NFL. There's only one game a week per team, so
right.
it keeps you can watch the whole league if you want.
No, exactly.
That's what I was on the. I was on the Vanguard for my pre-Super Bowl prediction or whatever. But yeah, I mean, well, I told them, well, I expected the Chiefs to win. I thought the Chiefs were going to get it because of the experience.
I expected it as well.
Yeah, I was just like, they're so good. They usually aren't the ones that make the mistakes that cost them a game because most outcomes at that level are driven by mistakes, and the Chiefs aren't usually the ones to make it. So
right. Megan says they didn't get it approved by Fox, I think, which is why they took him away. But I think since he was a dancer, he planned it. He probably like stuck that flag in and was waiting for the opportune time to take it out and show it. She says Kendrick definitely allowed that. I don't doubt that for a second. I mean, Kendrick probably didn't know, but with how intricate and planned out the show was production wise and how he was going to walk around looking at the camera at the exact right time saying, "Say, Drake, I hear you like him young." Like maybe he if he was aware, he would have probably allowed that. Kendrick Lamar's base as fuck. He's very, very conscious, very, very conscious.
you got to respect that.
Of course. Megan's saying hockey is so fun. Miss the amount of fights from the early 2000s era. They're cucked now. And I used to go to minor league hockey games. I forget exactly like what the actual league is called, but I would watch Stockton Thunder games back when they actually existed. And those were really entertaining hockey games. They were electric, honestly.
Hockey's a great sport. Yeah. It's a great sport. It's a brutal sport, man. Those guys are tough. There's just not enough scoring for me. Yeah. You know, a lot of games are like 3-1, 2-1, 5, even 5-4. It looks like it would be entertaining, but still, like, it's just not enough scoring. It's just there's so many periods that are 0-0,
Yeah. Megan says I expect the Chiefs to start off strong, then Eagles to come back and win. I mean, I was kind of expecting kind of a repeat of their more recent Super Bowl where it was just gonna be close the entire game. Like,
I was expecting a close one.
Yeah,
I was expecting a punt, touchdown, field goal. You know what I mean? Like a response and call and response type of game. But it's just the number one defense, man. Lesson learned: when you have the number one defense that makes it to the Super Bowl, put your money on them because the Super Bowl favors the team with the better defense because there's 18 games of data at least, sometimes 19, depending on who you're playing. And you've got all that data to evaluate what your opposing offense, what their favorite things to do are.
Yeah.
And if you take away the quarterback's favorite target, you take away their running game. That was what was interesting was that Saquon Barkley didn't really have to do that much yesterday. He wasn't really a big part of the game.
Right. Yeah.
And he was the biggest part of their offense in the season, but it was mostly their defense. When they got that pick six, it's usually over. There's only been one team in Super Bowl history that has won a Super Bowl in which they threw a pick six, and that was the Patriots in Super Bowl 51, greatest comeback in NFL history, or Super Bowl history, I should say. There have been 8 comebacks equivalent or greater than. But that was what everyone. It was funny having Tom on the broadcast because it's like, oh, do you think they can do what you did? And he's just like, in his head, he's like, no way, not against this defense, man. I wouldn't have been able to do it against this defense. This defense is
I mean, I found his commentary was it was all right. I liked his perspective for sure. Like going from like
it's not easy. It's not easy to go to talk about the game and have something interesting to say every few seconds.
No, of course, and going from like being like one of the most. Probably the most renowned quarterback in history to actually commentating on the Super Bowl itself. That's definitely a big.
Well, I would have thought maybe he would get into like content not during the game, right? Like features and like something like what the Manning brothers are doing right now. But that's what he wanted. He got what he wanted. Like, this is what you wanted, man. You want to, because now he's competing against Tony Romo, and there isn't really much of a competition. Everyone hears Tony Romo, and they're like, wow, that guy's great. And he's way better than Tom. So I hope he enjoyed it, because Fox, it's on a rotation. So Fox won't be getting the Super Bowl for another 2 or 3 years. We won't hear him on Super Sunday for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Fox, it was sometime during the third quarter, coming back from the commercial break, the camera was on Rupert Murdoch, and because I guess he was there, and the announcer was like, "Oh, well, there's
our boss,
Rupert Murdoch. It's good to see him." I'm like, "No, the fuck, it's not."
Right? He's an evil
that
dude,
guy.
man.
Yeah. Megan says was not expecting the wipeout. Yeah, and commenting on how I said conscious instead of woke regarding to Kendrick. And it's like, yeah, I think the word conscious should make a big comeback as to describe people who are a lot more fucking aware of, everything. I mean, it's the same thing as woke, but the word woke has been just fucking just relentlessly bastardized for years and years now. It's fucking like it's lost all its meaning. It's
right.
It's used as a catch-all term,
pejorative.
Yeah, it's a pejorative.
Woke just means political correctness now. What we had when we were kids with political correctness, that's all woke means now. It's just woke. It's just political correctness on steroids.
Of course,
the trans issues, all of the trans rights issues. There's no difference for that, culturally speaking, than the gay rights issues.
Right. Yeah.
It's just people that are different, that have different needs and different ways of living that need to be accommodated, and it doesn't require much from society to accommodate them. But everyone it's a distraction tactic, the right-wing magic trick, right? Yeah. Magic is the art of deception. If you're looking at this hand, you don't see what this hand is doing.
Yep.
So that's what the Republicans have been doing for 60 years. And it's not going to change.
Yeah.
It's never going to change. This is their playbook. So I think that there's a rude awakening coming from a lot of people who became MAGA, but after it was trendy or whatever, and are watching Fox News, and even Fox News is having to. I'm going to start watching more Fox News, because I think even they are going to have to start admitting this is getting a little ridiculous. That Elon Musk has so much power, no one voted for this asshole. What are we doing here?
Right. I mean,
we'll see, though. I don't know. Never underestimate the ignorance, the militant white trash ignorance. I really just want a lefty to step up and start calling MAGA trash.
Yeah.
And calling them what they are: idiots, bullies, and cowards, counterproductive members of society.
Right.
Cultural terrorists.
Yeah.
Where are these epithets?
We do have members of the squad calling out the bullshit for what it is. I think Ayanna Presley calling Elon Musk a Nazi Nepo baby, which is fucking, obviously true. But yeah, we definitely need more. Maggie says Fox already has opposition shitting on Elon. I would hope so. I mean, because not everybody is a fan of what he's doing.
Right.
He definitely has his detractors among the Republican base.
But that's what I mean, is that I think there's some Republicans that are smart enough to know that, okay, this all might at first glance appear to be what people want, but it's going to catch up. The system is being changed now, and the results of those changes are going to be felt throughout the next 3 to 24 months.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of the smart, moderate Republicans doing the calculus and being like, wait a second, am I still going to have a job if the Republican Party becomes radioactive? Which there's a decent chance it will.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, speaking of jobs, I was also going to mention earlier about USAID. It's actually screwing over a whole hell of a lot of farmers right now, because a lot of them actually have contracts with the USAID itself, for growing food here, assembling food here, and shipping overseas and whatnot. And now, like that, the existence of the department is in jeopardy. A lot of fucking farmers and whatnot are being left on their ass, and
Right.
Trump's not providing any protections for them. Biden sure as fuck did. Biden actually did
Right.
a lot of shit for farmers, but yeah, they're just kind of left, shrugging their shoulders like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Megan says, Megan likes what you said about woke. She says, yes, woke is political correctness on steroids. It sounds like a Tim Pool tweet, though. God, fucking Tim Pool.
Well, political correctness is not as conceptually. I don't have a problem with political correctness.
Yeah,
but
me
it's just
neither.
it's bad marketing.
Yes,
It's just bad
that's
marketing
the
to call
thing.
it political correctness. It's actually cultural sensitivity.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with cultural sensitivity. In fact, it's a requirement for a diverse society to have if we're going to have a functional society. We've talked about it 1,000 times. Why are urban and suburban areas more blue than red? And it's because the politics of racial resentment don't work there, because they see the black, brown, fellow Americans just ride the bus just like they do every day, trying to make it work just like they do every day.
It's
And
starting to sound a little
people to that.
garbled. You're starting to sound a little bit garbled. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Can you hear me now?
I mean, I can hear you. I can kind of understand you, but it's just like, I don't know if it's like a connection thing, like with the internet or what.
Probably. I'm actually gonna go.
Okay.
You're gonna stay on, right?
Yeah, I'll probably be streaming for a little bit longer, but yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get the practice. I want to get down with the football practice.
Oh yeah, right.
Last weekend we won. We won.
Oh yeah.
So
well, that's good.
Yeah. Well, we get another game coming up a week from today.
Now
so I'll have more to say about that next time.
Now you're good. Now you sound nice and clear.
Weird. I wonder what that's about. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi versus Ethernet. I think I'm on the Ethernet. Anyway, man. All right. We'll keep streaming hard, and I will talk to you soon. All right.
Of course, for sure, dude. Have a fucking good night and have a good practice.
All right. Thank you, ABS Anonymous Bastard of Society. You're the man.
Thank you, ABS.
Talk to you again soon. See you next time.
Have a good night, dude. All right. Yeah, I agree, Megan. Conscious is definitely a better descriptor and harder to politically manipulate like woke. I completely agree. It's just like, because like, how are you going to market the case against people being conscious? You know, like, how dare you be conscious? You should be unconscious. It's not going to sell, you know. Last year, farmers don't deserve subsidies. This year, farmers rely. I mean, a lot of them do, you know. I think. Well, the thing is, I think farmers do deserve subsidies because not a lot of farms are really profit driven. I mean, think about you. Like you own a farm and you grow food. You butcher meat and whatever the fuck. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't get subsidies from the government just to stay afloat because you're literally feeding the population. And yeah, all that gets jeopardized because Elon Musk and Donald Trump want to fucking have a deregulation-a-thon, then it's like what the fuck? They wouldn't need subsidy if they didn't have property tax. I don't know how I don't know how true that is, honestly. Property tax on farms. I mean, can we at least make churches pay property taxes at the very least? At least replace it with something. What'd you send me? that's actually probably the most accurate thing you've ever sent me, Megan. Yeah, this shit isn't a triumphant Reich installing their master plan. Remains to be seen. It's psychotic crackheads ripping the copper wiring out of the walls to try and find the woke machine that makes women not want to fuck them. Oh, that's great. Churches shouldn't be exempted. Yeah. exemptions is breach of the First Amendment. Yeah, it literally, it makes it so. Yeah, like there's a separation of church and state, and if the state's saying, "Oh, you don't have to worry about taxes," like why are they getting special treatment? Grimes, yeah, that poor fucking that poor girl. Um, yeah, and the poor kids too. Yeah, I mean, if with how many churches there are and mega churches around the country, you would hope that like taxing, like you want to solve the budget crisis, just fucking tax churches like you would any commercial building, like for fuck's sake. But but instead we're fucking putting together like a task force for that goes after anti Christian bias or some sort of fucking shit like that. A non-issue being it's so fucking ridiculous. Oh shit, dude. Yeah, what a shit show this has been. I'd say tax them as a mixed use building. That's fair. That's fair because like it's not just for worship or religion or anything like that. Yeah, I can agree with that. Um, did I want to watch a Kyle Kalinske video? I mean, there's literally so much shit I can point at when it comes to Elon Musk and his history and his modus operandi, the way he functions and shit. Was like, is even worth it? Like, we're not going to Mars. Also, allow more mixed use buildings. Fuck these Californians. I agree. I agree. Apartments above shops. Yeah. Yeah. No. Um. He doesn't anymore. But my dad was actually just living at a house. That kind of doubled as an office. Like it was a house above the office, like inside the property of a storage facility with like a gated facility with a bunch of storage units, and there was just a house that he was renting there. Um, but yeah, you'll get like some places like that. I mean I'm not sure how abundant it is in most cities, but like maybe Sacramento, you'll have some places like that where like people like literally live above the shops that they have, or they'll just rent out those apartments or houses that are above certain shops. Yes, the only ones we have here left are from before the laws have updated. So are Yeah. Are you saying that California law has restricted that from being the case anymore? Like you're no longer allowed uh, um, mixed use buildings, like apartments above stores and shit, above shops? They were built before zoning laws changed. Did that change the whole thing entirely? Because that'd be shitty. Like if I bought like a little shop, a little business, I wouldn't mind like living just above it. I guess maybe makes you more prone to burglaries probably. Um, but I mean, I'm not. I've never been too concerned about um crimes such as that. I work in one of the more sketchy cities in California, and I know the whole city pretty much in and out. I'm in the the sketchiest areas of the city, like pretty much every day almost. Um, and it's yeah, it's sketchy, but like I don't feel the need to like uh, keep everything locked up at all times. Like if I'm servicing a place, I won't lock my front door of my company vehicle. I mean, maybe I should, but I've done it for so long. It's just like second nature to not really even give a shit. I don't know about statewide, but blocked entirely. I think it's pretty much ruled out because zoning environmental development requirement laws. I mean, that would be shitty if it was ruled out for sure. Even the already existing mixed use buildings here are sold as residential only. Interesting. Yeah, they're probably like totally remodeled to like actually resemble houses with, you know, bedrooms and hallways and closets and shit like that. Huh. Interesting indeed. Yeah, no, the fucking house prices over here. Like there was this rural place, like a 2-bed, 1-bath, like just over 1,000 square feet. So it's like a pretty small place. The asking price from the realtors was 450 grand. Like that's fucking abysmal. Losing so many shops for it. No, not remodeled. Damn. That's so lame. That's so fucked. Anonymous warning. Yeah. Yeah. Trump approval apparently at all-time high for now, anyways. We'll see. Kanye West crashing the fuck out and then deleting everything. God, that guy. Please seek help. Why is it that every fucking lunatic is also very much Nazi adjacent? You know? Maybe there's something to that. Trump walks back ceasefire. Of fucking course. That wasn't going to fucking last long anyway. He is going, wow. Birthday twin, you share a birthday with Kanye West. God, he really is a Gemini, isn't he? I don't get you Geminis at all. I don't. So no more hostages. Oh yeah, that's because Israel violated the ceasefire first. Yeah, and Trump saying that he wanted to take back Gaza. I'm not gonna clip that part. I'm not gonna clip that part. Rest assured. But yeah, no, it's because of Trump's Gaza comments, him wanting to put boots on the ground eventually at some point, if that's what it takes, to basically annex Gaza and take it over. He said maybe we'll get the other Arab nations involved. You know, maybe we won't. You know, split it up. You know, no input from the Palestinians at all. You know, so just displacing 2 million people. The big museum shop is being sold as one bedroom. They're closing the museum. You need special exemptions to have a building in what is currently already grandfathered in on the highway. That's lame. No, how did Israel violate? Oh, they fucking killed Palestinians. That's just still been happening. I think there's a Palestinian, like a 12-year-old, that was shot and killed by the IDF, and yeah, I don't follow it as closely anymore. When I think within since Trump took office, I know that much. If you go to the Mo Hams channel on Instagram, MO_HAMZ, you're probably bound to find it there. But most of the operations taking place right now are in the West Bank, which has been fucking crazy lately. Yeah. Did I miss anything else from you? It doesn't look like it. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through my homepage on YouTube. Are we on the brink of a constitutional crisis? It looks like it. Legia Miller. Oh yeah, some more news. Some more news is a fantastic YouTube channel, and I would recommend everybody watching to check him out. He's made multiple videos on Elon Musk, and I highly recommend watching all of them. They go back as far back as 4 or 5 years ago, and he actually just released a new one recently. I'm gonna need to watch it here at some point, but he does excellent work. Sources all his claims, like in real time, like on screen, and he's fucking excellent. Like it's all super goofy. It's super out there. It's wacky as fuck, but it's also very, very, very informative. So I watched some more news. Cody Johnston. You probably find him on Twitter if you still use that, which I deleted the app, by the way. No longer using that shit. I'm tired of it. But yeah, some more news has the best Elon Musk videos, and so does Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot's an actual scientist and engineer. Speaking of which, Elon Musk engineering degree. Elon Musk doesn't have an engineering degree. Fun fucking fact. He earned a bachelor's degree in physics and economics, but he does not have an engineering degree. So I'm not exactly sure why he's consistently considered an engineer when he is not. He just buys companies or invests in companies and takes credit for their work because he has such a huge investment in it. Look no further than Twitter. He had a 10% investment, and he's like, "Oh, I want to buy this whole fucking thing." Yeah. Wait, let me see right now. I like that channel. Good. I fucking love Cody Shody. I want to get a Wormbo shirt, like really bad, or maybe like a Wormbo mug. Don't agree, but he's got good production style and generally well researched content. Yeah, very, very well researched for sure. 3 hours. 3 hours ago. What 3 hours ago? What are you referring to? Physicists are an engineer. Yeah, sure. I mean, physics isn't just limited to this, like the spectrum of engineering, though. Engineers think pi is 3. That is more right. 3 hours ago, delete. Shut up! I told you that I delete by the end of the day. Besides, like if I wanted to post on there, I can just pull up a browser, but don't really see much of a point in that. Nothing of mine is really getting responded to or anything like that. What are the Democrats doing? Fucking what? Nothing? There's his own vice president on the list. All right, Brian Tyler Cohen.
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that.
Whoa! Hold on. Wait. Impeachment. What are you talking about? They waited 23 hours. Then. Oh yeah, I said yeah, and then waited 23 hours. I mean, the Super Bowl has just happened. There's a lot of shit happening regarding Kendrick Lamar and shit, and I've kind of wanted to celebrate that. And impeachment, what are you talking about? Dems introduced impeachment? Well, that's good. We'll see how fucking far that gets, I guess. Did you not see? No. I don't see anything in the recommended. Did it just happen? But this is interesting. This is fucking interesting. Let's see here.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican
Like last
nominee in
week?
2028?
I haven't heard
No,
anything
but
about
he's
that.
very capable. I mean, I
Now,
know.
listen to this.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that it, I think you have a lot of very capable people.
The fact that he's not immediately like kowtowing to the fact that like it would be JD Vance after him because like this is his last term, but is he going to actually give up the reins? Is he actually going to like, not hold an election in 2028? What's going to happen? What is it? What?
So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job. It's too early. We're just starting.
But by the time you get to the midterms, he's going to be looking for an endorsement.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the
It's
presidency.
definitely been the fastest and the most stuff
Well,
happening.
we've done so much so fast,
Okay.
and we really had to, because they have really, what they've done to our country is so sad. It's so sad. We're going to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
God damn, that was a quick
Okay.
no. If you were looking for any indication that loyalty is a one-way street for Trump, there you go. In fact, it takes Trump
Yeah.
seconds before he immediately shifts the attention away from JD Vance and back onto
Yeah.
himself.
Right. This is why I think I think Trump is going to try to stay in power. Oh, I removed myself from the stage. There's not some more. No, it's Brian Tyler Cohen. Obviously, he would be the successor. Biden wasn't the successor to Obama. I mean, he technically was. I mean, it took a whole term until that was the case. But no, I just don't think that Trump's going to leave. Honestly, he's going to stay in there until he dies, and then JD Vance takes over because, that's who's next in line. But I mean, the 2028 primaries, I mean, they'll probably make it a facade and make it seem like there's an actual primary that's going on, but Trump will still be president if JD Vance wins in the primaries. God, that's gonna be fucking insane, and it depends on if we're even going to get to that point. Like, we got government shutdown coming up in March. Of course, there are the 2026 primaries to worry about if that even happens. This is too much shit. Projecting DNC shit. What are you talking about? What's base? Be specific. Them threatening to shut down. Yeah, but then like the economy goes to shit. Yeah, like fucking remember the government shutdown between 2018 and 2019 because Trump couldn't get his way and fucking hundreds of thousands of workers were left without paychecks. Predicting DNC because fake primary reactions delay. Fake the 2020 primaries. I thought those were actually like really combative. Like the fact that they chose Biden at the last minute was really just like them grasping at straws. Like, they were desperate. I mean, 2016 was definitely. I mean, they were all certainly rigged, but like, what's to stop the Republicans from doing it again? I mean, these recent primaries were just the end of they amounted to nothing because Trump just ran away with it. Everyone dropped out and just supporting yesterday of grasping anti-Bernie strategies. Yep. If I think about Bernie any longer, I'm just gonna get way too damn sad. He was the last fucking hope this country had. And now it's all dwindling into an authoritarian nightmare, a totalitarian state where Trump and JD Vance and all their billionaire cronies have complete control and seizure over the administrative state and just ruining any and all government functions that millions of people relied upon. And then, yeah, brain derangement syndrome. Tweet for doing primaries, even though everyone knew Biden wouldn't be the president for 4 years. Yeah, brain derangement syndrome. Is that me, or is it you before he sold out? I mean, God, I mean, me too, I guess. God damn. Well, I don't really have much. Oh, new from Bell the Ranch. Let's watch Bell.
The greatest opening in the history of the presidency.
Bell.
That was his response to a question about JD Vance becoming the next president. The extent to which Trump is blinded by his own narcissism cannot be overstated. Although, frankly, the fact that Trump hasn't tried to have JD Vance killed is worth noting. Given his track record for Trump's other VP, Vance should probably consider himself lucky that all he's getting is the swift humiliation of Trump hanging him out to dry on national television, considering the alternative.
I hope Trump lives forever, just to spite JD Vance and fucking everything that he fucking stands for. The fucking Peter Thiels, the Curtis Yarvins, fucking disgusting people.
Is sticking a mob of lunatics to the Capitol with a gallows with his name on it. So in a way, JD Vance coming out of this thing alive is a win unto itself. And obviously, the reason that Trump won't endorse JD, aside from the fact that he may very well have no faith in him, is because he is just that allergic to the very notion of anybody getting the spotlight other than him. If Trump had said yes, that would mean news cycle after news cycle would focus on the heir apparent, and it would lose focus on the lame duck. Trump couldn't possibly stomach such a thing. He couldn't possibly contend with the pain of not being right the fuck in everybody's faces.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, Trump will just say shit, you know, H-1B visas and everything. Like, yeah, it's like no wonder Vivek kind of stepped down. Well, I mean, I actually, no, that doesn't make much sense because that would mean that he sided with Vivek on it as well. And yeah, I know exactly what you're referring to now. The fact that fucking JD Vance would not stand up for his own fucking family. Like when he was fucking challenged about like his own policies and shit and like how it would apply to his fucking family because his wife's Indian. What a pathetic fucking subhuman fuck. Vampire getting death threats. What he said. Yeah, you know that reminds me of a fucking Blue Sky post that I actually just reposted. Kirsten Gillibrand on WNYC today saying that one reason they're all falling in line is that they get death threats. And then Robert Evans reposting that, quote posting it, I guess, whatever the fuck you refer to it on Blue Sky, saying, "We all get death threats, you fucking wusses. Man the fuck up." Yeah. All right. So
all day long. That is the downfall of having a malignant narcissist in office. Far from making room for others in the party, this also explains his insatiable appetite for breaking things for the sole purpose of making news. That is why we're stuck dealing with the problem.
That's just like the psychology of Trump in general. All right, Bell. What do you got to say?
Well,
all right, let's see. Like I very, very, very respect and appreciate Bell's perspective. This used to be Bo the Fifth Column's channel, but he turned the reins over to Bell here, who is his wife, because it was just like bad for his mental health, and he needed a break away from all this, and so she took over, and she has a team. and they, write scripts. They put his shirts in the background. It's still the same format and everything, but the videos are a lot more tight knit and straightforward. All right, let's talk about the Dems saying "shut down" out loud after I respond to you, Megan. Press conference Q&A. Trump said, "If my VP said that I support Vance front row confirms." Yes, he said that. Trump affirms his support. Yeah, I mean, Trump literally said himself, like, "Yeah, I support, H-1B visas. I use them a whole lot for my properties and shit." Question didn't explicitly ask about any stuff, saying a Doge guy got fired online for online comments and been saying that he should be reinstated. Oh, that specifically? I mean, yeah, it checks out. I mean, racism is not a fucking deal breaker for these fuckers. It wasn't in 2016, and it wasn't for a lot of people that voted for them, so it's not going to be now. All right. What you got, Belle?
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about the Dems saying "shut down" aloud. Last week, we talked about some subtle signaling from the Democratic Party that indicated they were considering using the March 14th deadline to gain some leverage and try to curb Trump. I said I wouldn't be surprised if soon we heard a Democrat openly call for a shutdown if needed. If there isn't some kind of funding for the government by March 14th, it shuts down. House Republicans have been fighting over their one big beautiful bill and haven't been watching the clock tick down. Calls for a continuing resolution are rising, which would give Republicans more time to work out their issue. But it would also push back Trump's agenda, something he doesn't want to do, given he all but abandoned his first 100-day plans.
Right.
Republicans are trying to point fingers at Democrats for the dysfunction, but nobody's buying it this time. The GOP has the majority in both houses.
Yeah.
They don't have their one big beautiful bill because they can't agree amongst themselves.
So that means more executive orders. Mike Johnson interviewed on this yesterday. This video literally just dropped like 10 minutes ago. And I don't know how good executive orders are going to do when it comes to funding shit, but
there was time. The Democrats for the dysfunction, but nobody's buying it this time. The GOP has the majority in both houses.
Downs means funding freeze happens. Yeah. I wonder what their plan is.
They don't have their one big beautiful bill because they can't agree amongst themselves. There was subtle signaling that Democrats saw an opening to get some concessions in exchange for votes to keep the government open. But there was also rumor mill talk about some Democrats being willing to shut the whole thing down as a way of mitigating damage from Trump's behavior. Well, the rumor mill was right, and Senator Andy Kim kind of put it all out there, saying, quote, "In a few weeks, the Republicans are going to try to figure out how they move forward, and they have, for the last 2 years, needed Democratic votes for every single continuing resolution."
That's right.
And they should not count on that this time.
Yeah.
He's right. Under current dynamics, Republicans would likely need Democratic votes to get a continuing resolution.
Okay.
He went on, quote, "They are simply trying to dismantle the government. So yes, look, if we have to take steps to be able to hold them accountable, we use the leverage that we have to force it.
Yeah.
I cannot support efforts that will continue this lawlessness that we're seeing when it comes to this administration's actions." So there you have it. It doesn't get more open than that.
Yeah.
It's officially on the table.
Yeah.
When we talked about it last time, there were a bunch of questions about how it would help, or statements that Trump would just use executive orders.
Yeah.
This cuts off funding totally. If they go this route,
Right.
Trump could sign 100 executive orders, but there wouldn't be money to implement them.
Yep.
Democrats
Yep.
are typically incredibly reluctant to cause a government shutdown
Yeah.
because of its effects on the economy and the working class.
Yeah.
But I think there's probably the feeling among a lot of Democrats that Trump's funding freezes, economic policies, and erratic behavior, if left unchecked, will do even more harm than a shutdown. The other thing to remember,
I actually hella agree with that. Yeah. I mean, it's a great point.
will do even more harm than a shutdown. The other thing to remember is that the Democratic Party can't actually shut down the government by itself. The only reason this is on the table is because Republicans can't come up with a spending plan amongst themselves.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, no,
there's
they still
probably
haven't.
also a little bit of the idea that they can't be blamed for the shutdown
Yeah.
because they aren't in the majority anywhere. When it comes to the partisan divide, they're right on that one. Republicans could pull together a funding package without a single Democratic vote. But their own dysfunction makes that unlikely at this point. Anyway,
Right.
it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
Yep. Good breakdown. Good breakdown. All right. I think that might be it for me. I've kind of gone on long enough, and I need to pee pretty badly. If you're here, make sure you're subscribed. Stay tuned for more streams. Which I don't know if we'll be doing another stream this week. I'll be posting videos, like clips from past streams, of certain segments, but like of what we've covered and shit, as well as the usual YouTube shorts. But other than that, it's just a busy week for me. He can come back like a son or Vosh. Okay, well, just to keep talking to you, Megan, you know what? I think I will. That way I can get some water too. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, that's right, Megan. The most based piss imaginable. Well, what should I talk about? What else should I talk about? That is, all right. What do I? Are these for? What are these for? How much water? Is there directions? Sustainability, electrolyte, sticks. It doesn't say. I'm trying to figure out like how much water this liquid IV is for. Oh, okay, good. Okay. Yeah, what you got, Megan? What kind of nightmares should I cover? Or if you want, I can probably just like play video games on stream. I can probably just play fucking SOCOM or some shit. Death penalty coming back. Kanye. Can you still hear that? Oh.
They're going to have to be let go, or that their program is suddenly unfunded. The NIH, Trump administration cutting billions of dollars in biomedical research funding. This is, according to the Washington Post, alarming
NIH.
academic leaders who said it would imperil their universities and medical centers, and drawing swift rebukes from Democrats who predicted dire consequences for scientific research. Honestly, I don't know who wrote this. I don't know the byline on this, but I can't imagine a more pathetic and a week with a critique class
Fucking
to explain why this paragraph is just horseshit. It's not just rebukes from Democrats. In a moment, we're going to see like full-on Republican senators going like, "Hey, wait a second." So it's not just Democrats, and it's not just alarming.
You know what's really crazy about that, Megan? That picture of Trump in a maid outfit sitting behind Benjamin Netanyahu, what's clearly like the Oval Office. Trump doesn't back down to anybody. Like, that's like pretty obvious. He doesn't back down to fucking anybody. Yet he's so subservient to Benjamin Netanyahu. He'll pull his chair out for him and push it back in for him like a little servant. That's fucking wild. What does Benjamin Netanyahu have on Trump? What does Elon Musk have on Trump? Curious. You're still in here, right? You better be. I don't want to be talking to no one. I mean, I say no one, but there's 3 people in here total.
Academic leaders, because in that same piece about a Republican senator begging for this not to happen, you have other people saying like, "Hey, wait a second. This university is the largest employer, not in the city, not in the town it's in the entire state." So it's not just that it's alarming academic leaders. It's alarming a lot of other people too. I'm not an academic leader.
I mean, these aren't the NIH cuts, but in terms of like just general federal workforce, I was seeing NPR was saying that in Kansas City, the federal government is the largest employer.
Of course.
Crazy.
But this is something like, we have to be on the lookout.
Yeah, a red state like Kansas, and they're being dramatically affected economically. Wow. There's just no thought put into any of this shit at all. Fucking Curtis Yarvin, his rage idea, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, rage. Replace all government employees. That's literally being enacted right now. That's a judge put a stop to the forced resignations. The assault on the federal workforce, but it's just a shit show right now.
In all of the press now, of making this like it's a he said, she said. There is no, it's 12 noon, but is it really the middle of the day? People who are interested in clocks, they say it is, but other people say it's not.
Both sides.
The move now.
No, it's not, Megan. Considering just like how prolific he is in the tech bro circles, and how JD Vance in particular openly praises him and sees his work as a giant inspiration and influence into like how he approaches government and how he looks at things. QAnon is a stretch. Is Soros for the right? Nah, he's more like the deep state, I guess you could say. It's like the new tech deep state. It's like Gates versus Mustang thing, Yarvin versus Soros. I mean, I don't hear Yarvin's name mentioned like nearly as often as it should, like at all. I don't even think that's I don't even think that's even remotely comparable. Yeah, scary motherfucker.
Announced Friday night by the National Institutes of Health drastically cuts its funding for indirect costs related to research. Okay,
more sense.
And this indirect thing is also, like, what's an indirect cost in this office would theoretically be like a desk or a computer. I mean, I don't.
Internet service.
Internet service.
What would be a direct?
I mean, with Curtis Yarvin, if like on his Wikipedia page, like there's a section that like specifically lays out his influence in on people like JD Vance explicitly. I mean, clearly there's something there. The Dark Enlightenment and the Butterfly Revolution, all of that's very real.
Cost on the other side of things.
Well, let's say you're doing research on, I don't know.
And I don't want to believe it either. Honestly, it's like, I think that's the case with a lot of people. Like it's unnerving. It's uncomfortable. You don't want to believe in any of that shit because it's scary to fucking think is actually a potential,
Some type of chemical. The purchase of the chemical might be a direct cost.
Okay. Seems like we're splitting hairs here to give a lot of credibility to the Republican administration. So Sammy's got the cost, but maybe it's a good opportunity then. Do you want to play number 4?
Play this clip.
Yeah.
All right, here. Curtis Yarvin. Also known by the pen name Mencius Moldbug. Yarvin has influenced some prominent Silicon Valley investors and Republican politicians, with venture capitalist Peter Thiel described as his most important connection, the co-founder of PayPal. Political strategist Steve Bannon has read in the Myers' work. Vice President JD Vance has cited Yarvin as an influence, and there's three sources here. 3 sources. You got the New York Times, How Tech Billionaires Became the GOP's New Donor Class from October 2024. Oops. You got Curtis Yarvin, Once American Democracy Toppled. He has some prominent Republican fans, October 2022. And also from October 2022, Politico, the 7 thinkers and groups that have shaped J.D. Vance's unusual worldview. This has been known about for a few years now. Well, at least since 2022. Oops. There we
go. So this is a Fox contributor, Nicole Safer, and she here is talking about how she knows people, federal employees and health agencies, and how it's going to affect them.
Honestly, I have a lot of colleagues who are really upset right now. They're very concerned that the funding for their research that they're doing is going to be cut off. I mean, we do a lot of valuable research in the cancer community, and I keep telling people, like, you just have to give it a pause right now. I think DOGE is probably one of the greatest things to happen in U.S. history, but change is hard. I can empathize with these Democrats right now. It's really hard, and in hospital systems, like, we have to do these huge electronic medical record transfers, and that makes me want to retire and quit.
Yeah, it's not just like in these hospital systems as well. It's the Department of Education being tampered with. A lot of educators in red states that are MAGA, that vote for Trump, and they're like, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for chaos. I don't want to have to increase my classroom size, so I have to teach 10 more kids in the same class and shit.
My job, but it is so hard and there's so much work, but it doesn't mean it's not for the greater good of things. And so while I think a part of them just wants to keep it, they want to keep control of the money, but I also think it's really hard to accept change. And Elon Musk with DOGE, I truly believe are doing great things, and they are going to weed out the waste and make sure that what deserves funding should get funding. But I will be honest, I have a lot of...
I wish they had brought the laughter up and moved it up closer to when they were talking about, I have friends who are not being able to do their cancer research. And it's Democrats. Remember, Democrats are upset about this. Every cent of hard-earned taxpayer money should be spent efficiently, judiciously, and accountably, without exception. While the administration works to achieve this goal at the NIH, a smart, targeted approach is needed in order not to hinder life-saving, groundbreaking research at high-achieving institutions like those in what state? Can you guess what state it is? What state is this Democrat calling for an exception to these cuts to the NIH grants that are being cut?
Oops.
Is it Massachusetts? Is it New York? It's got to be California. Oh, wait a second. No. Let's just start at the top of the alphabet. It's Alabama. That quote is from U.S. Senator Katie Britt.
Oh, Antifa, obviously.
Uh-huh.
She woke.
Totally woke.
This is from the AL.com. Currently, some universities receive 50% or more amount of a grant to put towards support staff and other needs, but that would be capped at 15%. This is according to the AP.
So workers.
Yeah, everybody, everything they need to do this. The University of Alabama at Birmingham and the University of Alabama in Huntsville are examples of state institutions that could be affected by cuts.
Yeah, that cap right now, I think he's at 28%. And this is just going to squeeze staff unnecessarily. It's fucking ridiculous. And partner this with the assault on unions in this country right now by the Trump administration. It's all just a fucking shit show. It's all being done on purpose. It's just a complete dismantling of the entire like all protections for the working class. Just being done away with. Yeah, that anonymous video was fucking right on the fucking money. Just squeeze the lower class out into submission. Just make them subservient to the billionaire class. Or just go into just like total poverty, lose everything, become destitute.
UAB alone has received more than $1 billion in NIH recent funding in recent years. Incidentally, the NIH said the change would save more than $4 billion a year, effective immediately. And the note highlighted, this is from the NIH, this is from that Washington Post story, the note highlighted the multi-billion-dollar endowments of Harvard University, Yale University, and Johns Hopkins University, implying that many universities do not need the added federal funding. But here comes Katie Britt. Wham! UAH, that's the university. Is that what we're calling Harvard now? University at Harvard, is that what it is?
Not quite.
Oh no, that's University of Alabama, Huntsville. Also receives NIH funding.
Huh.
Steve Ammons, president of the Birmingham Business Alliance. Oh, wonder what this lefty has to say. Said he was unsure of the specific cuts, but quote, certainly any reduction in funding would be a hit to UAB since they were in the top 30 for 2024 for NIH funding. Certainly something we need to watch and make sure we advocate for the states. You ready for this? Now this is the state's largest employer. What private company owns University of Alabama? Does anybody know?
I do not know.
What private company is it? Can you look up the owners of the University of Alabama? This might be a company I want to invest in because this seems pretty big. They're the biggest employer in Alabama, the state. Anybody?
That kind of a staff shortage would almost ensure like bigger classroom sizes and, as a result, like less returns on retention and performances, shit like that. It's just unnecessary. Yet another fucking unnecessary thing happening under Trump. Like government-backed student funding requires those of administrators who doesn't actually contribute to knowledge. I mean, if you got anything that's demonstrating that that's the case, I'd love to see it. Sound like you're just asserting that because like it aligns with anti-government shit.
It's the state of Alabama. What? It's in Alabama. This might be a company I want to invest in because this seems pretty big. They're the biggest employer in Alabama, the state. Anybody? It's the state of Alabama. What? It's government?
Employing people?
Wow.
Government doesn't create jobs. Will someone please?
So Kansas and Alabama, the majority of the workforce there are just literal government employees that work either a state job or a federal job. That's insane. Wow. Yeah, another fucking red state. Fucking one of the poorest in the country for sure.
Let this guy from the what is it? The Business Alliance.
Check out
government doesn't create jobs. That's not really jobs.
2.3 million federal workers in this country, by the way.
And then the NIH.
How many?
Alabama, the state. Anybody? It's the state of Alabama. What? It's government?
employing people.
Wow.
Government doesn't create jobs. Will someone please let this guy from the what is it, the Business Alliance? Government doesn't create jobs. That's not really jobs.
2.3 million federal workers in this country, by the way.
Jesus.
And then the NIH, a federal program,
yes,
funding the biggest employer in the state.
On top of that,
which is a state employer,
right?
Which is also government, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you have been told about all of this by the right is just a out and out lie, and this is a lie that's been existed for years and years.
Jesus Christ! Like it goes so deep. Like what's crazy is like in blue states this isn't as much of a problem because of the resilience and like the more access to private sectors and whatnot. Like wealth, and blue states are generally wealthier than red ones. But like this, right? Like the title of this video: Are Republicans starting to panic over Musk's Doge assault on NIH? This attack on the federal workforce in general and these departments that employ a lot of these people in red states and whatnot are obviously a huge employer, is affecting a lot of people that voted for Donald Trump. A lot of people. And now they're just fucking left swinging in the wind. And but Doge is based, you know. Therefore, go Trump, go. Insane.
But because there is at least one senator in Alabama with integrity who will never.
Those are admins to deal with government funding, some abuses of that stuff. Never expands campus or housing, accommodate all the people they're accepting. Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, I guess it depends on the type of campus too, like, because not all campuses or colleges are the same, but like, I mean, that'd be fucking nice, you know. You know, treat our college students and whatnot better than we treat, you know, actual fucking American, you know, working class folks, or say the homeless, maybe. Research now will lose funding, Medicare type stuff won't. Well, yeah, they're not ready to touch Medicare just yet. Excuse me.
Veer from his absolute stupidity in every sector of governance. Tommy Tuberville supports the cuts. When the American people voted for President Trump on November 5th, they voted for his campaign promise to create the Department of Government Efficiency and cut waste in the federal government. I would be willing to bet that 85% of the people who voted for Donald Trump on the day of the election would have no idea what you were talking about. Right. And then another of that remaining 15%, half would just lie. And then there would be another 7% that would say, like, yeah, I think so.
Also, Tuberville coached at Public Land Grant University, Auburn, which I wonder what his salary was there as a state employee.
Interesting.
I'm sure he would have been able to do his job.
University, Auburn, which I wonder what his salary was there as a state employee.
Interesting.
I'm sure he would have been able to do his job if he didn't have any support staff.
Support staff, yeah.
That's where we're at with the NIH funding. And just off the top of your heads, 2023, the top NIH grants.
Right, nice.
UC San Francisco, Hopkins, Johns Hopkins, University of Pennsylvania. That's in Pennsylvania, incidentally.
Right.
Duke University, that's in North Carolina.
Hopkins.
University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, that's in Michigan. Those are all swing states. And with 2 Republican senators in North Carolina, 1 in Pennsylvania, and then Fetterman, who knows what he is. I wonder if he supports it. University of Pittsburgh, that's also in Pennsylvania. Mass General Hospital, just a bunch of hippies there. And Washington University in St. Louis, top NIH grants, at least in 2023. So,
damn.
You know, I think we're going to see this resonate.
And it's just amazing to me that they're getting away with, like I just saw right before we went on air, that Jerry Connolly had said that the public gave Trump a mandate that things would be running efficiently. And in part, he has that mandate. Ken Klippenstein put out that quote.
Who said this?
Connolly.
Recently?
Yes, this morning.
Oh,
that's the quote. But the point is, it's just like, here.
That's so fucking funny. Let's listen to that again.
You know, I think we're going to see this resonate.
And it's just amazing to me that they're getting away with, like I just saw right before we went on air, that Jerry Connolly had said that the public gave Trump a mandate that things would be running efficiently. And in part, he has that mandate. Ken Klippenstein put out that quote.
Who said this?
Connolly.
Recent.
Translation, things are not running efficiently. Well, the in part is, yeah, he was given a mandate, which isn't true, which is not true. They keep on saying this, oh, Trump was given a mandate. Not true. That things would be running a lot more efficiently. That's explicitly not true, and that's like a tacit admission by Connolly. I mean, no one who wins by only 1.6% of the vote is being given a mandate. They got by the skin of their teeth. The skin of their teeth.
Really? Yes. This morning.
Oh,
that's the quote. But the point is, it's just like, here's how you have to approach it. They're stealing from you. Our tax dollars go towards these kinds of programs. It goes to Medicare, it goes to Social Security. Yes, it goes to the military, but it also goes towards cancer research. It also goes towards the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which has an $800 billion a year cost and has returned $21 billion to consumers. Like, maybe that's
it costs less to run the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau than it does bring in money. I think I saw a crystal ball video like going over the exact details of that. But
inefficient, but when they see it, but the CFPB in part is also like efficient because it consolidated all of the enforcement mechanisms into one agency. So when they say efficiency, what they mean is cutting programs that your tax dollars were supposed to go towards to benefit their own ends and to reallocate those resources.
Every dollar
for their
the Consumer
project.
Financial Protection Bureau spends, which doesn't technically actually come from tax dollars, it actually comes from the Fed, but regardless, from fees, every dollar returns about 20 to the consumer, and that's just in hard dollars. You don't know how much business has been done differently because they know the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau may come after them.
And I misspoke. Sorry, $800 million a year agency returned $21 billion.
She said $800 billion on accident. So $800 million to run the agency. It's returned $20 billion since its inception in the late 2010s. I forget exactly what year it was founded. Maybe 2014, 2012. It might be 2012. But so 800. Let's say 2012. $800 billion a year. It's about $9.6 billion. So since its inception, $9.6 billion to run, but it's returned $20 billion to defraud Americans and Americans who were the victims of scams. Yet they have a problem with Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is like, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, you're going bye-bye. Bye-bye. Rest in peace, you're dead. See ya. Just unilaterally. Just stripping the function of it away. Nobody fucking asked for that. Nobody fucking asked for that.
To consumers. I was like, I knew
1 to 20. Let's not get caught up in the math.
Yes.
And I just recommend people look up their local areas research universities. I did mine in North Dakota, UND, and got this headline from 2023. UND's Department of Biomedical Sciences first among similar departments to receive NIH grants. Basically, it ranked for controlling for size. UND was taking the largest number of NIH grants.
Yeah, but what are they doing? Studying the spit of lizards or something?
HIV research. There's some aging research. There's some cancer stuff. $700,000
That's not
for some
important.
DNA repair stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's just not going to Grand Forks now. But hey, the drone program hasn't been attacked because it looks like the Pentagon isn't a priority for us.
Try just eating Whole Foods. Don't worry about it. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day.
All right. I think that's it for me. Let's see here. Do. Yeah, everybody's pretty much gone. Anybody out there feels like I'm talking to myself? They not like us. They not like us. All right. Well, I'll probably be back next week. You'll see some videos coming out soon and whatnot, but stay tuned for the shorts. Make sure you guys hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any uploads at all. And if Dieter didn't say it, I will say it. This has been the Left Coast Live. You don't get change in America by asking nicely. Democrats.